Right guys, quick video. This is a great rod I've had for years, and unfortunately all the parts and hardware on it have come to its end, so I've stripped all the guides off, foregrip, reel seat, rear grip and the butt grip. So I'm using a slow cure epoxy, and it's just good so you've got plenty of time to work with. And yeah, so I'll just get going. This section here through the blank, as you can see, is pretty rough. It's got some old colour in it, so rather than sand it back, I'm going to put some heat shrink through there. But yeah, I'll just get going, and pretty much how it's going to be. So we've got the rear grip on. Now the trim between the EVA butt and the rear grip, which is going on now. Fill the gap between the grips. Bit of clean up and mix. Don't worry too much about it at this stage. It's time you've twisted everything and recompressed everything, stuff just keeps coming out. This is the heat shrink I'm going to slide on now. Gently heat this from the rear down. Put some adhesive on first, I guess. You don't need a whole lot. Just twist it around and get all that adhesive spread out nice and evenly. It sort of stops the lumps and bumps in there. I don't usually like using these because the fans in them will end up blowing dust, and it sits down in your epoxy and your clear coats, but we won't be doing any of that today, so it's not too bad. We're going to measure up a winding check to go over that. And the winding check will just hide all that mess at the bottom there. Just move that up, but you want it a reasonably good fit. And there's enough epoxy in there just to keep that set in there. You want the same size for that end there. And there we have it, something like that. Right, next EVA grip. I'll pre-cut that heat shrink to give me a height of 290mm from the butt section to the underside of the reel seat. It's quite a short butt, and I'll be using that with clay. It's just a gentle clean-up. That's all good to go. Right, reel seat. Larger diameter of the reel seat than the blank. So all we need to do is get that arboured up. Mark off the top section here. Thread part of the reel seat and the palm. So that's a great fit. So I'll just stop you there, the video, and I'll come back when we've finished arbouring up these. What I'm going to do is leave a gap about 5mm between each one of these until we get up to here. And if you leave the same 5mm up the top here, and what that does is when we put the last grip on, it compresses all the epoxy and seals around there and gives it a nice watertight finish. Right guys, got that arboured up. Now I'm going to slide the reel seat down. As I said, I've just do a check, see it's nice and firm, which it is, it's about right. Maybe just half a wind back up the last one, and we'll get it epoxied up. So like I said earlier, it's really important to do the edges, get that real waterproofness into it. Even though this is a slow cure epoxy, I can actually feel it starting to thicken a little now. So get it right into the cracks. So you've got quite a base on the bottom of the reel seat there to adhere to the bottom of the EVA grip. Feel a nice good bind, and it'll never come undone. find you'll be able to move quite a bit of this epoxy around once you start feeding the reel seat down the blank. So go ahead and start doing that now. Once you get there, you can just feed that epoxy into that crack. And the next one. So what you find in some of the factory built rods is that when the reel seats do come loose, if they come loose, when you actually do remove the reel seat, they use the epoxy so sparingly, it's crazy, just for a little bit extra adhesive, and you know, it's there for good or it's going to come loose. So there's a load of epoxy in there, they ain't going anywhere for a long time. Just give it a rough clean up and it's a mess, and we'll come back to give it a real good clean up when we've got everything aligned. So the last foregrip I'm going to have to arbor up as well with some tape, and the reason being is that this section of the blank is 8mm and the grips I have 9.5. So just to give it a little bit of a bind, you can just see it's slightly loose there. Also have a trim for the reel seat to foregrip. That's just to tidy it up, make it look smart, finish it off. When you roll your tape, try and finish it where you started. It keeps everything nice and straight and level. This grip doesn't serve a lot of purpose to a lot of anglers. Quite often it's just for aesthetics. Some do like them. I personally never use a foregrip. Not in this sort of weight rod anyhow, maybe in your heavy jigging gear, yeah, sure. And same again. So we'll put quite a bit on this and we'll get that all forced down into the top of the reel seat. And just hold your trim up there. You can see how much epoxy is going to end up in the top of the reel seat. Just turn those grips the whole time you're forcing them down on top of each other. I already marked out where the spine was on this, so I know which way the reel seat needs to be orientated. I'll just get that glued up and clean up, and that's pretty much it. And again, if you get a decent amount on there, that winding check will force any epoxy down into the crack at the top of the EVA grip. Try not to compress everything too hard here with these types of components in. What it does, it'll actually squash it and it'll get air bubbles and that'll look real bad. So compress that section and just make everything's lined up. Now, because the internal ID on this trim here is around about 22, the blank is 10, you need to make sure that's centered over the rear grip and the butt grip. Well, that's looking pretty good. Good to go. Come back tomorrow, get the guides on, clear coat the guides, one coat or probably 3. Awesome.